Hey. That's nice. 1. That's the 2. That's it. Big. That's the project. That's it.
Wait, Tommy! Tommy Tan.
Getting ready.
Hey. Hey. That's nice. 1. That's the 2. That's it. Big. That's the project. That's it.
Wait, Tommy! Tommy Tan.
Getting ready.
What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. So here we are then. Let me give you a rundown, just in case there's some dons out there who don't know what go on. So yesterday it became apparent that Tyson Fury's team is 10 out of 10 inept, completely low IQ, having asses, no doubt. And on that basis, Deontay Wilder has won the very suit that Bob Arum said they didn't stand a chance in winning. And the judge not only ruled in Wilder's favour, but ruled specifically that Fury must oblige a fight by September 15th of this year. In response to that, Fury is now alleging, as you can see on your screen now, that Deontay Wilder is demanding $20 million. He said the following: "What a joke at the bronze bummer has become. Asked for 20 milli to move over so I can fight AJ. Looks like I have to crack his skull again." Now, listen. The way that all the goofy things that have been going on, the way that Fury's team was so unfazed by it, I've got a feeling this was always planned. Now, also, I've got another video coming soon. Allegedly, Fury's team have already got a date booked, July 24th or something. Some sort of date booked in July. Now, how is it Eddie Hearn been working for 5-6 months and could barely get these men to respond? Never mind actually add something to the table. And in 10 hours, they've got a date booked in July in some venue. How does that work? How can you apply no goodness to a 6-month process, a grueling process, but then all of a sudden, this shocking event, let's not forget, this event should have been shocking, given that they were saying they want the AJ fight. And despite all the shock, somehow, out of nowhere, he's pulled a date out in 10 hours. Now, I'm sorry, this is fishy-lishy, no doubt. Fury's team knew, and that's why they were dragging their feet. They knew, we can't commit fully, we can't sign. And now it actually makes sense why they didn't sign. If they signed, they'd find themselves in a whole heap of problems. Because once you sign something and the wheels go in motion, you're then liable to provide them services. And if, for example, Saudi Arabia started building that massive stadium and whatnot, and then Fury says, oh, well, actually, I'm tied up with this other thing, boom, you're getting sued for losses and whatnot. So now it all comes round circle why Fury was delaying. He was delaying, inevitably, to see what happened with the Fury and Wilder decision. Bottom line. Now, my beef is, why couldn't Bob Arum be honest and say, listen, the truth is, we don't know what's going to happen. Who knows? And until then, we can't give you a decision, Eddie. I don't get this whole... I don't understand why we're sitting here today. That said, though, equally, it can be put to Eddie Hearn, that Eddie, given that you're trying to build $100 million or $300 million fight, why didn't you ask for your own lawyers to look at their contract, if that makes sense? I don't know, if I'm in business, yeah, if I'm trying to be prudent in a $300 million deal, I'm saying to Team Fury, if you want this fight, I'm going to need my lawyers to look at your contract, because we don't want to get $300 million running around the place if our legal team don't think you've got a chance. Because I'm going to bet, much like the judge found in Wilder's case, and I was saying this from time ago, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and lie and make out that I was 100% backing Wilder, but in terms of a contract's a contract, especially in America. When you sign a rematch clause, I was struggling to understand how he were going to get out of it. I just don't get that. You can't, when you sign for a rematch clause, that's what it is. It's not a case of, oh, well, we don't matter no more. That don't make no sense. Oh, well, it's timed out. Well, it hadn't timed out. You kept putting it off because there's no fans. That's not the same as timed out. Timed out's when, for example, okay, there's a 6-month deadline and you haven't heard from Wilder in 6 months. That's timed out. Timed out isn't, oh, Wilder immediately replied within 2 weeks and has been trying to make the fight ever since. That's not timed out. That's you trying to play smart games. And the games weren't even smart. Fury's team are just... honestly, yeah. Fury's team are the D level. They weren't smart even a bit. I mean, if they wanted to literally get out of the Wilder fight, what they could have done is be a lot more inconspicuous. The things they were doing. Frank Warren and Team Fury were coming out on international TV and saying, oh, well, we can't do the Wilder fight, or we're not going to put the Wilder fight on because there's no fans. Now, the minute a judge hears that, they're going to say, wait a minute, what do you mean it timed out? Clearly Wilder wanted the fight, and you didn't do it because there's no fans. Not doing a fight because there's no fans isn't the same as timing out, is it? Just sloppy. Like I don't know what they're doing. If you're trying to be smart about things, all right, you know what? We don't fancy doing the Wilder fight. Let's keep everything hush hush. No, not fish eyes, not Frank Finding Nemo looking ass. All on the video, and Bob Arum giving it the big one. And now look, you're looking sloppy. But to be fair, it's one or the other. Either they're super smart or super sloppy. And like I was about to say, I'm not sure about Eddie on this one. Why was Eddie, bearing in mind, obviously I'm 190 IQ, but these men are exposed to the business side, the actual day-by-day particulars. Why hasn't Eddie or anyone in his team said, Eddie, wait a minute, before we throw ourselves at this for 6 months, why don't we get some clarification on this contract they have with Wilder, knowing how binding a rematch clause can be? I mean, it's not rocket science here. Everyone knew Wilder had a rematch clause. Now, allegedly, Team Fury said, well, you know, a rematch clause is a rematch clause. This isn't some statute that's, you know what I'm saying, where you can find little bits and bobs to nick out of it. It's probably 2 lines. I mean, how variable can 2 lines be? Yeah? A rematch clause is a rematch clause, and on that basis, Eddie Hearn should have really said, you know what, Team Fury, if you're saying your legal team have got it sewn up, then you shouldn't mind my team having a quick look at it before we throw ourselves at this. Because, like I said, the base case is Wilder was always going to win this. Now, and equally, the way that, given Bob's confidence, he sucked me in, and I guess that's what Eddie's saying. Eddie's now saying that Bob sucked me in as well. But the difference is, you're actually exposed to the business part. Me being a casual fan, sitting here and being sucked in is one thing. Allowing a $300 million business to be sucked in, as you have been, and now you're looking silly, and all that wasted work. Although, people can argue, well, YB, it'll just happen down the line. And allegedly, well, the Saudis and the money and whatnot, which now probably is an excuse from Fury, certainly a year from now, the money or all the finances will be definitely there. So I guess, in a way, it's not a bad thing. But where I'm going with this is to say that I'm not even sure that this may be one big conspiracy thing, where Eddie Hearn and everyone was behind it. You know what, guys? We know, well, there's a chance Wilder's going to win. Let's just put on this big circus and get the... Do you understand? Let's not forget. There's been a lot of talk of Mayweather Pacquiao. Mayweather Pacquiao was a big, massive circus for God knows how many years. Oh, it's going to get done. Oh, it's not going to get done. It went on for years. So maybe they're playing that playbook. Yeah, you know what? Let's talk rubbish for 5 months, 6 months, and then when it don't happen, we can. You know what I'm saying? One of them ones. Who knows? Because I'm finding it difficult to believe Eddie has just, you know what I'm saying, has acted as if Wilder's contract meant nothing. Now again, Bob gave him assurances, but what assurances can you have? A rematch clause is a rematch clause, is it not? You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. I don't understand. What do you mean Bob's giving you assurances? Assurance? I don't know, but I'd love to hear how Bob's explanation is. Bob's saying, I'm 100% sure it don't mean nothing. That's not the same as... What legal grounds are you using? Come on, innit? If you're going to get round some not pretty strong, absolutely strong legal case Wilder had, if you're going to get around that, you best show me your magic little trick here. And I'm afraid to say, the 300-year warrior magic ain't going to cut it on this one, as it didn't. And the way that Bob's and Fury's team have moved on, and Bob now said, Mr. Bob, yeah, who was 100% sure Wilder's got no claim, all of a sudden now he's saying, oh yeah, we're going to have to push ahead with Wilder because we don't feel like paying no money. I mean, as it happens, Wilder, like I said the other day, Wilder don't want no money. So it don't matter even if he did want to pay it, he don't want it. And Fury's saying he wants 20. Fury's just full of shit, if you ask me. I don't think Wilder's asked for anything, truth be known. I really don't. I don't think Wilder's asked for anything. I think Fury is just gassed off his head. I think Fury's a fiend for public. I think he fiends for it. He fiends for the attention. And that's why 3 days ago he came out and started hyping the AJ fight. Just to be an idiot. He knew he weren't going to get it at that point. I'm not sure, but through some inside sources or whatever, he knew the Wilder fight was going to be on, or the judge wasn't going to allow him to fight AJ, and therefore he can talk rubbish for 3 days, hype it up, get everyone gassed, get loads of attention on him, try and act like a big hard ass, and then I was just about to fill AJ in, but look, I've got to fight Wilder now. And that's what he says here. Look, you see him here. Oh, looks like I have to crack his skull again. But again, this is what I told you, man. Don't get excited for it. I'm not bothered for it. I really couldn't care less if this fight happens or not. There was a whole bag of man. Oh, YB, you're a hater, and YB this, that, the other. I told you, don't get excited for it. Not gonna happen. Oh no, YB, where's your apology? And YB's a hater, and I'm not even sure YB wants the fight to happen. Well, for all you man out there, yeah, who wanted the fight to happen, how did that work out for you? How did sitting there and wanting it to happen and being optimist, how did it work out for you? Now you're sitting there and you got to fight Usyk instead. AJ versus Alexander versus a 200-pound soaking wet Usyk. You can't even, you know what I mean? Got pillar fists. The original pillar fist. Can't hurt no one, can Usyk? Who wants to watch that? No one wants to watch that. Although there's some dons who think you're going to win, but you know what I'm saying? But fair play to them. Listen, end of the day, Wilder hasn't asked for no 20 million. Fury, and I don't believe that they've even had any contact with Team Wilder on a financial basis. I believe, I'm hearing from people, Fury literally pulled this figure out of his backside. No, seriously, Fury wrote this Instagram post, and it's based on nothing. So when he says here, oh, Wilder's become a joke and he's up to 20 million, that hasn't come from Bob ringing him and saying, oh, Fury, Wilder wants 20. That's come from Fury sitting there and thinking, oh, how can I drum up more hype around myself and make myself look a right hard ass? I know, I'm to be honest, I'm surprised he didn't use 100 million. It's only because it'd be ridiculous. That's the only reason why. And he wants to. And a lot of Fury fans, you man think this is real, don't you? A lot of Fury fans read this and think, oh yeah, look, Wilder wants a silly amount of money. No, Fury made it up. How about that? And that's why he didn't use 100 million. Because he knew it'd be just ridiculous. He wants you man to be gullible and he wants to string you all along. Just like he did the other day. It's crazy. I had a whole bag of man telling me, YB, look, the fight's on. YB, where's your apology? And one idiot, YB, stop covering Billy Joe Saunders. It's time to cover AJ and Fury now. Because the fight's on. Fury's confirmed it. A whole bag of man. Fury's confirmed it. Look, Fury's confirmed it. Now look at you. Looking silly. Got bust all over your face, ain't you? That's what you got over your face. Fury is stood there, and you might have been on your knees, and he's bust all over your face, looking silly right now. Wipe up your face. That's what you need to do. I'll tell you what you might need to do. Stop worrying about what I'm doing, and wipe the bust all off your face. Look, quick, there's a bit dripping off your eyelid. Look, quick, there's a bit dripping off your eyelids, no doubt. Yeah, so clean up your face, get the bust off, get Fury's bust off all of your face before it dries up and goes crispy. And you know what I mean? Don't worry about my comment section. Either way, Fury's scary looking ass, and I'm over it. Genuinely, yeah. I don't care. I couldn't care less. Number one, I never thought it was going to happen anyway. Number two, the way AJ's fighting, I don't really care to watch it. It's the bottom line. On so many fronts, I'm not bothered. AJ versus Fury, if I have to sit there and watch AJ try and box for 12 rounds, it might as well not happen, genuinely. The only reason I want to see that fight is to see AJ come out and get stuck in. If he's going to go in there and do what he did against Pulev and go 12 rounds, 50-50, I'm not interested. Don't bother. That's my opinion. So, until I start seeing... And the thing is, this will be a good test. We know Usyk is like a smaller version of Fury to an extent, i.e. a boxer. If AJ goes in there and it goes 12 rounds, which it's likely to do if he doesn't get stuck in, because Usyk loves to get tricky, then we'll know exactly. It's right here. AJ versus Usyk. Usyk can't punch even a lick. In fact, you know what? I've just digressed there. Let's not worry about that. End of the day, Fury's gassed. Yeah? Wilder ain't asking for no 20 million. Wilder wants you badly. Now, how that fight goes, I don't know. We're going to have to see how Wilder comes back. The fact that he turns down the money, that does imply that he really wants this, if that makes sense. Many people, after being washed, if he didn't want it, he'd take X amount of millions. So I'm sure, well, I'm not even sure, that's the thing, I'm not even sure that they'd offer millions. The way they've got this rematch, the way they've got the Wilder fight already booked in for July 24th or whatever, I'm not even sure they're offering, if that makes sense. I'm not even sure they'd offer him any money. I think that's what they want to do. I think Fury now wants to fight Wilder. I don't think he fancies the AJ fight. The way he's carrying on here, and the way he's slipped over so nicely, you'd think, yeah, after only 3 days ago him hyping the AJ fight, you'd think the AJ rug allegedly being pulled from under him, he'd be a bit like, oh man, I'm desperate to make the AJ fight still. We haven't heard any of that. Fury and his whole team have moved on exponentially. And like I said to you, man, the other day, what do we know? It was only 4 weeks ago, Fury was saying, and I told you, man, at the time, Fury was saying 4 weeks ago, oh well, oh, I might fight Wilder. Oh, I'd love to fight Wilder. Oh yes, oh, Wilder. Oh, I like Wilder. Oh, he's giving it all that he was. And I said to you, man, at the time, from what I'm hearing from Fury, he's more interested in fighting Wilder than AJ. Genuinely. In the last 6 months, we've heard more out of Fury, positive-wise, about fighting Wilder than we ever have AJ. They knew, I reckon. They knew. It's no coincidence Wilder's Fury story's been saying, oh, well, Deontay Wilder, he's a good man. Oh, I'm fighting, man. Oh, I'll fight him. Oh, yes, I want him. Oh, it's no coincidence he's been giving it all that, in my opinion. And from what I'm hearing from people in Fury's camp, it's truth. Truth is, Fury wants Wilder. He don't want to fight AJ. He don't want to fight a full. Well, I'm not even going to get into what AJ is because we don't know at this point. Truth be known, we don't know. End of the day, Fury wants to go in there with Wilder again. Give him the choice, if that makes sense. Give him the choice between Fury and AJ. He don't want AJ for whatever reason. This what it is. It's a big circus, and that's how you have to treat it now. You can't. Don't expect things. Wait until you get it in right in front of you, because you, man, like I said earlier, you, man, are sitting there now with bust all over your face, and that's the bottom line. Fix up. In fact, clean up, and then fix up.